Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 22 of NFL Draft Analysis by Sideline Specialists. It's time for Kris Abrams-Draine, a CB out of Mizzou, drafted in the 5th round by the Denver Broncos. So, I'm just reading, sorry. Abrams-Draine started his career at Missouri as a receiver. The three-star recruit even played QB in high school as a senior. He moved to DB as a sophomore at Missouri and started on the outside in each of the past 2 seasons. Excellent. All right, he will have receiver instincts, and he gets to play CB. This is always a good start. So he's 6 feet tall, 179 pounds, outside CB, not a slot guy. All right, so we got change of direction, agility at a 9. We'll start with the highest stat because everything else after that is a little interesting. So his tackling, a 5 out of 10. That's got to improve. Run support, 5 out of 10. That's really got to improve. Strength, a 4 out of 10. That's a little concerning, I think. Like you gotta be at least strong enough to tackle in the NFL because you're not going to just outcover every single receiver that you're lined up on. You're not going to have a pass breakup every single play. Guys are going to get catches on you, and you're going to have to tackle them. His competitive toughness, 8, great. Ball skills, 8, awesome. Footwork, crucial, being a 7 out of 10, fine. Mirror and recovery speed, 7 out of 10, fine. That could be worked on as well. Let's see. So let's look at weaknesses. Hips don't flip as quickly and as smoothly as you'd want for a slot defender, even though they're calling him an outside corner, which means he's not necessarily a slot defender. Does not have the nuances of the position mastered yet, and that makes sense. He's only been playing corner for 2 years, and he's getting drafted in the NFL based on 2 years of CB play in his life. That's impressive. Didn't miss many tackles, but when he did, it was due to a lack of strength. Again, dude can hit the weight room, and they're just going to have him do that. They're going to have to give him a regimen. It's going to put some muscle on his frame. Obviously, he does not weigh very much, so just give him a workout, give him a whole kind of regimen that'll allow him to keep his speed while also becoming a stronger football player. And that should work out in the end. So in 2023, his PFF grade 85.8, great. 2022, kind of not great. 2021, 83. So he had one down year in the middle. And I can kind of see why. He had no picks and gave up 4 touchdowns, 490 yards. That's the most he's given up in his career in both of those statistical categories. Let's see. He increased in snaps every single season, increased in coverage snaps every single season. In 2023, his completion percentage allowed was the lowest he's given up, 47.1% for 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So more picks and touchdowns allowed. Love to see that he's done that twice now. That's great. I think this guy, obviously, he's developing still. He's a guy who's literally developing still. Because this is not a position he was playing his whole life. So it's impressive enough on that front that what I'm looking at here is him improving in completion percentage allowed every single year. That's a great start. They're giving him more coverage snaps, more overall snaps. He had his highest grade this past season, which shows improvement. One down year in 2022, I'm not going to look at and get freaked out by. I'm not. I think there's reasons you look at a guy like this and say we can develop him. One of the best CBs in football at the moment is still in Denver in Pat Surtain. Bring this guy in, try to develop him. If you can get a solid player that stays on the field for you for most of the snaps of the game, you're going to be so elated with that as a 5th round pick. Let us go ahead. Let's pop, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pop over to the Combine tab real quick once it loads. And we're just going to take a brief look at how he did at the Combine. Okay, his athleticism score is shockingly bad. I'm going to say that right off rip. 58, which is 34th of all CBs at the Combine. Yeah, 33.5-inch vertical jump is not high at all for a guy his size and weight. You would expect he would have the stronger legs, but again, strength being a weakness, here it is. He has runner's legs, so he runs a 4.44. That's perfectly acceptable. They have him graded as a will eventually be average starter. I can see that. It's just development. There's no reason to believe he can't do that. And I hope he can. It's impressive enough that he's found his way to an NFL team after playing CB for such a short amount of time. We're going to go ahead and jump on over to some highlights. All right. So this is against Memphis. 3-0 Memphis, 3-0 Missouri. Jumps the route, reads the route well. Receiver knew it, had his hands on Abrams-Draine. Brings it in. Receiver hands are definitely something a CB is going to use to his advantage. Fade to the end zone. One hand on the receiver just to know where he is, not affecting his trajectory whatsoever. PI is definitely not ever going to be called there. Turns, looks, ball, smack. That's a really, really, really great play. Number 24, Kentucky. Swings to the outside, tries to throw a laser beam, jumps the route again, gets another interception, talks some shit to the other number 7. Because why not?
Right into the breadbasket.
There he is at the top of the screen there. Needed to change direction a little bit better. Forced fumble. There's Jalen Wright's one fumble. Let's see it. That was his one fumble, and I remember saying, I wonder if it was a weird play. It was. That's a good play by Kris Abrams-Draine, though. Nice tackle. Nice tackle. Don't need strength when you can just use basic leverage and momentum of another player to your advantage.
Kris Abrams-Draine was right with Brooke. They got a big play for MTSU on 3rd down and 6, trying to avoid a 3 and out after Mizzou has opened up the scoring, and that is incomplete. It was a jump ball. Kris Abrams-Draine, the cornerback, looked like he was here. Makes it very.
See, here's the thing, right? I saw his vert jump, and he doesn't get very high here. Let's keep this a stack. He has his arms fully extended. He barely gets off the ground there. His ability to jump is going to need to be worked on. However, his hand positioning and his coordination and where the ball is coming in is excellent. So he makes up for some things, surely with his football IQ and knowledge from being a receiver. He's used to tracking a football coming in. He uses that to his advantage. Okay, there is at the top of the screen. Right. Sorry, it's like 1:15 in the morning right now. I just wanted to get some videos done. He's gonna have a really good knack for reading a QB's eyes. Shoves him right out. I have no problem with that sort of defense right there. That's a perfectly logical, great way to use the field to your advantage. Sees where he is, says, get out of my field. Ball wasn't caught anyway because he was physical on the guy's arms. Double whammy. Good job. Same game, another PBU. In the end zone this time. Closing moments of a game to ensure victory. That was an athletic play. That was nice. Full extension to get his hands in there. First round receiver, Xavier Legette right there. And he gets one hand in there to make sure that that is not a big gain for the Gamecocks. Nice tackle. Gets behind the line of scrimmage. He's limping now. That is very unfortunate. This is earlier in the same game. We've already seen some action from. That one's up there for grabs. And it's grabbed. Well done. Okay, that was a hard ball to track. That thing was a wounded duck. Hard to gauge the distance that's actually going to end up going. Floating up there in the lights like that. He makes a great read on that. Cuts inside the receiver. Very solid interception.
Howard to the end zone, incomplete. Howard to the end zone, incomplete.
Wow. That's a fantastic job getting his hand on that. Turns back, gets his right hand up above his head, smacks that out of there. Okay, I need to see what just happened there. Okay, that play I don't think needs to be on here. That pass was absolutely abysmal. Full extension. Full extension. He's playing ultimate frisbee out here. No way that ball was ever going to get caught, but he just flexed on him to make sure. Oh, perfect. I didn't even need to go back. Wow. That ball could have been caught, but it would have been tough. But he made it impossible. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Got in the backfield, got the first hand on him, slowed him up for that first second, and then stronger, bigger guys who are better at tackling running backs come in and clean up. Rattler trying to go to the outside. Draine goes low. He knows he's not the strongest dude in the world. Use a sure method of tackling, especially on a QB. He's going low a lot, and I don't despise it, but because he's not doing it in the worst way possible. And if it's what you got to do, it's what you got to do. I just don't want to see guys get hurt by this sort of tackling. They're gonna have to teach him up to use upper body leverage, use his arms to make consistent tackling at the NFL level. Okay, they have him lined up for a blitz. Gets in there, gets his hands on. QB is barely actually affected by that, really. He was getting tickled there a little bit. However, the throw that the QB made was absolute dog water. And we'll give credit to Kris Abrams-Draine there. We will. All right, we're not going into Dadrian. I know it's Dadrian. Dadryan Taylor Demerson. All right, we can just close that now. We'll go to me. So, just to summarize, I think we know he's a project. He's a guy who hasn't played CB his entire life. He gets drafted in a late round by a team that is clearly in a rebuild. There's a lot to work on, but there was a lot of potential on that film. He reads QB's eyes very well. He reads the ball in the air very well. He uses his hands, arms, and upper body as far as reaching very well. He can extend himself to try and deflect or intercept passes very well. Body control, great. He doesn't have the strength. There were plenty of moments on that where you could see his ability to tackle a bigger, stronger guy is not there at all. And the only way he was really doing that was going low, throwing his entire body at their legs, which isn't the cleanest method of tackling, and in the NFL probably will not do as well as it did in college. He can be developed. He could become a good player. Needs to put some muscle on. He needs to work on the mechanics because his IQ is clearly very high. His vision's very high. He reads the game well. And he was sticking on receivers. He was making their lives pretty difficult when the ball arrived. I'll give this a B+ because I think there's value to a guy like this. Even late in the 5th round. We'll give this a B+. Very curious to see how he does. Obviously he's gonna have some tough work in the AFC West out there, so. And I mean Denver's bad. They got a lot of work. In the meantime, thank you very much for stopping by this late night episode of NFL Draft Analysis on Kris Abrams-Draine, CB at Mizzou. If you enjoyed what you watched, please click the like button and consider subscribing. If you subscribe and you have the notification bell on, you could see when we go live with our podcast at least once a week. Sometimes Saturday mornings, sometimes Thursday nights. Who knows? It is a coin flip. If you would like to listen to the audio-only version of our podcast, please visit Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google, searching Sideline Specialists. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again very, very soon.